Hey, what is going on YouTube? In this tutorial, I'll be showing you how to do the Tahanan Inspired photo in Ibis. Now, I recently just created a canvas, and what I want you to do is to import your image, which you'll be working on. So I'll do just that by clicking on a new layer and adding the image to the canvas. Okay, so after I've added my image, I need to resize to select the specific portion of the image which I want to draw. And once that is done, and when you get this message, click on no. Okay, so once you have your image selected, you're ready to begin creating this edit. So let's create a new layer, and I'm going to add the original image as my reference. So I'm going to add it in the little corner so I can pick the colors from that particular image. So what you need to do next is to create a new layer, and this will be the layer which we'll be using to create the outline of our painting. So let's create a new layer, and we need to select the brush tool because that is what we'll be using to do the outline of our subject. And for this, I'm simply going to do the female subject because the male is quite repetitive. So for the brush, select dip pen brush, the soft one, and you could also use the charcoal brush and select the appropriate color. By long pressing on the reference image, you'll be able to pull up the color picker and so on. So once you have the brush selected, you need to click on the tool and enable force fade. Now this will, and stabilizer as well. Now this will allow you to create a smoother drawing, and I'm going to create the outline of my subject, and then I'll begin to do the rest. So you could do the outline, straighten out all the rough edges before doing anything. So once we have our subject, we could change the blend mode of our subject to multiply, so that would create a darker look for the outline. So on the outline layer, change the blend mode to multiply. So now once we have our outline, we need to create a new layer, and we'll begin to shade in the particular color. So we have the face, the hair, and the clothes. So we'll be selecting the watercolor brush. As you can see, we could adjust the size and all of that. So once we have the brush selected, we'll do the same process. On a new layer, we'll create the outline. So we'll just long press on the reference image to get the color picker to come up, and then we'd use that color to, so we're going to do her skin tone first and then the rest of her body. So this is quite a repetitive process. That is why I did not do the male subject, because it is quite simple. You just follow the steps to be able to do the male subject as well. So once you have all the various parts of her colored, you could select a darker shade and just do the shadows. The next step, what I'm doing here is using an airbrush to just simply smooth out the rough edges on the image, and it's basically that simple. You would need to merge down the layers after you've completed this step. And what you need to do after you've finished with the subject is to create the background. Now you could create the background by just doing the same color picker using the airbrush, or you could use the background which I'll provide in the link below. So you could import that as the background image, and you're basically well on your way to completing this paint, or this drawing rather. So once we have our subject, you could, as I've said, you could do the background manually, or you could just simply import this background image, which I'll provide for you in the description. So let's add the image, and once that has been added, let's enable our subject, and we'll be able to see that she matches up perfectly fine on the background. You could use this smudge tool to smudge the edge so it looks a bit blended more, but this is just for demonstration purposes. Okay, once you have that, you need to create a new layer on top, and we need to change the material to cloth material. Then you could find that in gray materials and select cloth and just resize. Change the blend mode and the opacity. So the opacity, you turn it down, the blend mode will be overlay, and that's basically it. if you followed every step in this video, you'd be able to create a Tahanan inspired photo within minutes. So I hope this tutorial was helpful. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them down below. And once more, this is your painting, so feel free to do anything with it. You could adjust various elements on it. You could do a little twist to it if you'd feel like. So once more, thank you guys for watching. Hope this tutorial was helpful.